Welcome everybody to Solomon's Crown. We are here once again on our lovely Friday.
Once again.
So today we are going to be talking about some wild stuff that was happening. I want to say it was Georgia, Florida, and Texas
yeah.
for the most part. But there was a 220 million, or let's not even say, but it was a multi-million-dollar operation that was going on with essentially like human trafficking and modern day slavery, as they put it. Workers were being essentially paid 20 cents for labor, as far as like construction, farming, all types of stuff, anything that's a low priority job but high value for the country, essentially. And it took the FBI, they started the investigation in 2018. And they recently just had a couple busts. I think what you said was November. But I mean, truthfully, this isn't unheard of, to be honest. I mean, the fact that it went on for so long was kind of just wild. And the fact that it's a multi-million-dollar company, that was like the biggest shocker. Because most of the time, I mean, we've heard about immigration and how it has been affecting a lot of families. And granted, I mean, immigration was like a big topic in the US for a little while, just because we had the Mexican border and everything like that going on, children being detained in cages and full families and everything. But I mean, truthfully, that didn't stop. Those were just the people who got caught, essentially. It didn't stop the people who were still coming into the country. It didn't stop the people who were bringing these people into the country. And as you can see in Georgia, it was living and breathing in modern day. So the biggest thing is like, how does something like this happen and go unnoticed? I mean, essentially, I think it's that a lot of people are just living in a bubble that they don't necessarily see all the things that are going on in this. It's like, oh man, like, not to sound racist or anything like that, but like, oh yeah, these dudes at Home Depot are just like chilling, like, and it's just like, not saying that everybody chilling is at an illegal immigrant or anything like that, but I mean, I'm from San Diego. I have Hispanic homeboys, Hispanic members in my family at this point. And it's one of those things where it's like, a lot of things are known, but things are never really said. So at what point are we going to get to the point where it's like, things need to be said about the injustices that are going on? I mean, I'm a firm believer that anybody trying to achieve a better life should achieve a better life by any means necessary, as long as it's not harming anybody or hurtful to anybody. So with that being said, I mean, don't let me, I got a fresh cut, so I'm just gonna talk out here. But
oh my
Pop,
God.
He's got stories all the time. You should see our text messages. But that's just to touch bases on like the generalization of the situation. But Pop, how do you feel about the situation?
It's utterly disgusting, to be honest, but I just think that there is multiple things and that were set in place, multiple environmental factors that could have caused this. First of all, this is just despicable. Like, we learn about this, going in the military, working for the military, like, look out for signs of human trafficking. From what I read in the articles, they got their visa taken away, they lived in horrible living conditions. Some people were assaulted sexually, some people were killed. I think 2 people were killed out of the 100 detainees that they found and released back to their countries, because most of these people were from Mexico and Central America. It was just horrible. As we'll aptly put it, it's modern day slavery. So just to kind of talk on why this could happen, right? So, as Will again mentioned, immigration is a big hot topic in the States. There are people on one side that, America has always been the beacon. Me being firsthand knowledge, I'm a child of an immigrant, it's a beacon of freedom, better opportunity. People should, come in, and if they work hard, they can, get a better life. But there's some people on the other side, which is saying that, like, America's a sovereign country. We shouldn't let any and anybody in because it puts strain on resources and whatever for natural-born American citizens or naturalized American citizens who went in the right way. So, just to get to the meat of the matter of my point, I think, again, it all comes back to money. Why would companies, legal or illegal, or organizations, legal or illegal, hire someone when they have to pay them wages dictated by the federal government, life insurance, all this stuff, where they could hire in Hispanic immigrants or South American, Central American immigrants to work the farms or whatever? Because low key, like, Americans aren't doing that type of work.
No.
Americans are not picking the fruits. They're not building the roads like that's actually needed for the infrastructure and to feed America, but they will do it for like pennies on the dollar. So, and then on top of that, there's this culture of like, oh, they're just immigrants, blah, 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 blah. They make them less than human. So of course, it's not going to be anything to be like, oh, okay, let's take these, like, for them, it's like, they're coming from a place where they could barely afford something to eat, to at least they have some roof over their head and something to eat. So it's a no-brainer for them, and then they come over and then they're exploited either way. It's like either they die in their own country to death for starvation, or they come and they get exploited. So it's like out of the fire into the frying pan for a lot of these people, and it's sad, but it's swept under the rug because whoever is in charge can grease a couple palms. They're making money hand over fist, and the general public don't really look at these people as people because they're illegal aliens. So I mean, there's a bunch of angles that could go on, that could be discussed on this matter, but that's just my 2 cents on it. But what do you think? Like, do you think the government, or whether that's state or federal, are kind of sweeping this under the rug, or they're looking at this from a different way, a wrong way, a right way? Like, what do you think?
I mean, that's the thing too, is like the federal government is going to take actions towards it. But I mean, it's not always necessarily the end all be all. I mean, if we're being realistic, like, yeah, this small part of this organization is being shut down, but it's just going to pop up someplace else. And that's the thing too, is like the next time it pops up, they're going to make more money, because now it's like, oh, well, we're running a risk, and you saw what happened last time. The government is watching, so we got to cover our backs a little bit better, because nobody wants to go to jail. And to be honest, like, just talking to people about it in general, I'm not going to put anybody on blast or anything like that. Like, it's never going to stop, bro.
No.
There's a lot of stuff going on in South America that we just don't hear about for the most part, especially like you have people who like migrate to America, like do it the right way, get their citizenship, their green cards and everything like that. They do their time, they do all this stuff, but they also still have family that is in these countries. And of course, their family's going to tell them like, yo, this is what's going on down here, this and that. I got one of my chats with my boys. They're from Honduras, Mexico, and then Colombia. And then we hear about the DR a little bit, stuff like that. But like, bro, they still got family down there. They still got things that are going on. And it's still very much so the wild, wild west in a lot of those countries.
Yeah.
So the thing is like, when it comes to immigration and everything like that, like I get like handling things the proper way and trying to come to America the right way. But like, sometimes it's just life or death, bro. It's like, okay, like legit. My neighborhood is getting shot up every week, like this and that, like, and I have this opportunity to go to a better country and get work and potentially get my family in a better place. And like, yeah, bro, like a lot of people are choosing that over just like dying in the streets, like trying to go to the store to get some bread. Like, I'm not about to die for some bread. Now, I'm not saying that America is like the greatest place as far as like not getting shot going to the store and things like that, because we still have regular street crime and things like that. I think I saw that Memphis was like the most dangerous city in America right now, and it's just like, bro,
wow.
I used to live like 2 hours away from Memphis. Like, just to like segue a little bit, I was in Memphis one time, just like traveling. I think I was just going to the mall or something like that, but I got lost in Memphis. And like, it goes back to like I think it was Dave Chappelle, where it's like I was driving down the street, it was like liquor store, cash advance. I was like, hey, like I gotta get out of here, bro. Like, I mean, like, low key, I was in a bad neighborhood, bro. Like big rims, like all types of stuff, like Buick Regals. I was like, hey, bro, like I'm not stopping.
Like, I gotta get out of here,
bro. I was driving around Memphis for like 2-3 hours, like just lost, like trying to figure out how to get back to the freeway because I could not like get my GPS up. And then as soon as I got service, I was good, bro. Like, and I changed my internet service the next week, bro. Like, but I mean, with that being said, I mean, America is the land of opportunity.
Yes, it is.
And of course, my camera doesn't want to focus.
Yeah, it's about to focus over.
It's all good. I mean, it is what it is. We're just talking at this point. But we need to get our cameras upgraded. But
yeah,
at this point,
sub, just sub. Just sub.
Like, you don't even got to contribute, just sub. Like, we need 4,000 subs at this point, bro. We're struggling out here. But not necessarily struggling, but we need to bring the quality of our videos up. But with that being said, I mean, America is a land of opportunity, and truthfully, minimum wage in general is like a big thing. A lot of these people couldn't get regular jobs. They couldn't even get into the routine of like potentially gaining citizenship and things like that because they didn't have their passports. They didn't, like, that's a big thing, is like, you need to be able to have your documents from your country to even start the process for this. So yes, these people took advantage of them heavily. Like, they essentially gave them no other options but to go in this line of work. They said they were getting paid 22 cents like an hour, maybe not even that. And you got to think they're probably working like 8 hours a day. So like at the end of the day, they were literally throwing these dudes like $5-10 and saying, good looking, bro. Like, and then going off and making thousands of dollars on all the labor that they did. They didn't have to pay for insurance. They don't have to pay for
leave day, paid leave,
all like, that stuff, like anything that goes into that. So it was literally tax-free money. And of course, that's probably why the federal government got involved, because like somebody not paying their taxes, like, nah, that ain't about to happen. But I mean, but that's the thing too, is like the investigation took from 2018 till now, bro. Like, I mean, granted, COVID, but I mean, even right before COVID, I mean, that means that all this work was going on during COVID the entire time, and they were probably making buku money at that point. Because then delivery services started becoming a thing, and bro, like these people who are doing these crimes, like, they're not dumb. Like, they know what they're doing, and truthfully, they probably plan to get caught, at least for the lower levels. And that's why, like you were saying, the government is going to go after the big heads, because the 22 people at the bottom who are just making this thing work on a daily basis aren't anything. Those people are replaceable.
The bosses,
I mean, but let's be honest, bro. Like, most of the people who are doing these and who will get caught are not even close to the heads.
No, they're not.
I mean, you're essentially not going to find the people who are making these things work, and these people have been doing it for a long time. So it's going to continue to happen. What can change this? That's probably the biggest debate of the century, bro.
Yeah, I mean, immigration has been the topic for since probably longer than Obama and
probably
Bush,
longer than what we've been alive.
Yeah,
to be honest. I mean, it was probably a lot more like lenient back then, because it wasn't like
9/11 and all that stuff. But yeah, it's I don't know, man. Like, I'm kind of torn, because it's like, you know, we talk about stricter immigration. It's like the prohibition, right? Like, you know, they banned alcohol, and people were like, all right, bet, we're gonna make it illegally and we're still gonna make money, and the mafia made buku money off of that. It's the same thing here. It's like, it's a commodity. Like, these human trafficking is a commodity in terms of labor. So it's like, if you make super strict
labor laws,
immigration laws, it may have the same effect like in the prohibition, but it might help, it may help, it may not help. But if they have super lax immigration, do you think it would do the same thing anyways?
I mean, the thing is too, is like, I mean, for the most part, I think that they're backlogged on immigration stuff, and that's the
Yeah,
biggest thing. Is like anything that's like a federally ran project is
yeah,
usually like
yeah. I know how that
oversaturated.
is. Yeah, we know how
Yeah,
that is.
yeah. Like
So
it's not the fact that it can't be done. It's just the fact that there are so many cases, because you got to think like we're looking at like, oh, there's probably only like 2-3 thousand cases. Like no, like
no, it's
there's
probably
probably like
tens of thousands, hundreds of
yeah, like
thousands.
I want to say like hundreds of thousands of cases like of people trying to like legit like either get their parents legal, get their cousins, like family members, this and that. So the thing that it goes back to is like people not wanting to do the jobs. Like nobody wants to go and do these, like gain the qualifications necessary to go work at an immigration office, get background checks if that's something that's required to work for the government. People don't want to take government jobs in general because of how strict they are. And truthfully, like the jobs are strict, but it's structured
Hmm.
as best as it
It's very
can be.
structured. Yeah.
But that's the thing, is like people don't want that. Like people look at the anything that's federal government is like, oh, I can't do this, and I got to be proper on social media, and this, and that. And it's like,
Mhm.
what's the problem? Like, what's the
I
problem? I
mean,
get living your life to a certain extent, bro. But like, at what point, like, everybody has to contribute to society at some point, bro.
yeah. I
And
mean, you're getting benefits off of it, so
that's the thing, is like everybody wants to be like, yo, I want my individuality, I want this and that, but like contribute to society at the same time. Like um the government, like if you want the government to change, then go work for the government and change it like from the inside out. Like that's the only thing that can happen. Is like people complain about, oh, the government this, the government that, but then it's like, oh, I don't want to be in the government, I don't want to run
mhm.
for politics, I don't want to do this and that. And then the people who decide like, okay, I'm going to do it, get dragged in the mud because it's like, oh, 10 years ago you said this on Twitter, and now we're going to cancel you because you're not the primary guy that we want, or girl, or whatever you want to be called at this point in time. And it's just like one of those things where it's like it's kind of just getting annoying, to be honest. Like everybody's complaining about things needing to change, but nobody's wanting to make the change. And the people who are making the changes, like I get it, but like a lot more people are making it harder for them to like actually make this process a lot easier to deal with. And it's we as a society need to change, man. Like drastically, because like we need to value human life, like we need to value each other. And if we can just like value money over human life, then there's becoming a serious problem with the way that we're handling things. I mean, we've seen things firsthand, we've seen the real world that nobody wants to see. And it's a lot rougher for everybody outside of the United States. And
Oh
that's the
yeah,
thing that
yeah.
a lot of people don't understand. And people who have friends and family outside of the United States or in these South American countries, or even like Afghanistan, Iran, like Syria, all these other countries too, because it's not just, this is a one dynamic type of situation where it's like, okay, this happened in Georgia, but like think about the other parts of the world that don't have the same rules and regulations as America. And we can talk about this later, where we talk about immigration in other countries. And I mean, even Japan, like, but like it's a big problem, man. Like people aren't just coming to America because they want to take your job. They come into America because they want to live, and
Want to
they want
live,
their
yeah.
family to live. Like, and I've seen it firsthand, where it's not like these people are like these crooked like people who don't want to go through the process and get everything that needs to be done, like they'll pay taxes, they want to get a tax return too, like they want their kids to have medical insurance and all these other things and get all the benefits that we are getting, but it's a process and it can take years to get this to go through. And
some of these people don't have years to wait,
exactly. So
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to every story. I mean,
is it legal? Probably not, but I mean, yeah.
We're looking at it from a moral standpoint and not just laws and regulations.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because that goes into real life. I mean, laws and regulations are put in forth for order and structure and accountability, but like they're not always necessarily what is. I'm not telling anybody to go break the law. I'm just saying,
yeah, we're not condoning this.
Yeah, when it comes
a PSA, we're not condoning this, but it's just
life
reality.
And death. I will say that you're not wrong or right. I understand. That's my saying, and I understand that if it's going to take 3 years to get into the United States, and you might not live 3 years in your city or state, or like people are being massacred in the street, or women are being taken advantage, children are being taken advantage, kidnapped. Who knows what's going on? I mean, for the clean version of like what is being going on in the world, like I mean, everybody's got to get it how they live it, bro. Like it's one of those things. Is I'm not condoning anything. I'm not going to agree or disagree with anything. I'm just going to say everybody has to make life choices, and you also have to live with the life choices that you make. So take that with a grain of salt, and that's just really all I have to say. Because I mean, me as a person, like I live life on a totally different planes from like what most people live, but not even most people, but I've seen a lot of stuff in my life that's just like rules and regulations don't always necessarily work out, if we're being honest. And I know a lot of people can attest to that and agree with that, with who've dealt with things that just kind of gone against the grain at times. Not saying that I've done anything illegal or anything like that, but I'm just saying I know how it is sometimes. But
just my final remarks. Again, we're not condoning illegal immigration, but as Will said, it's sometimes life or death. Like I know some people, it's like because I know a lot of us who grew up poor, we were eating sardines and crackers and 99-cent burgers or whatever. We were getting how we live it. There are people out here trying to get into the States that don't even have that, so get it. And
especially when it comes to like your kids and like your kids living a better life, like you got to think like a mother of a child is going to do anything in this world to make sure that her kids are
good. I
mean, even a father to a certain extent, but like you can't have a mother like she's just going to do whatever it takes. So
yeah. And then when it comes on to the situation at hand, I just think I agree with Will. It's not going to stop because money is a motivation for a lot of these organizations. So hopefully the authorities can only hope, or maybe a nonprofit can probably help combat this, or new laws can be put in place to kind of like protect illegal immigrants or people that are just trapped in this trafficking situations. Hopefully they can get some more protections under the law. But it's just despicable and horrible that this type of thing is going on in 2021. It's damn near 2022, and this has recently happened. So but anyways, guys, that's all I got for this episode. I'm your boy Pop,
your boy Will, and until next time,
see you. Peace out.